good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to
Parenting Special Needs. Please like, subscribe, and comment.
and share the video to tell us what you think and what everybody else think. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. She's trying to say, open your mouth and say something. Sorry. I wasn't thinking, I was just daydreaming. And today is another wonderful day.
Okay, so what's new at work?
What's new at work? You know, the same old, just staying busy, staying active, and make sure you don't worry about anything else. Work is work, so.
Okay, you tell them about how you helped your brother.
Oh yeah. Last week I had to step in the embroidery department to, help. Like mostly like trim the backside of they have paper that sews to, so the image or the stitching holds to the design easier. So that's what we had to do to make sure the embroidery sticks. So they had 400 one side and another 400 another side, so we had to do it two sides. So that was a fun day, sitting inside for 2 days. Still got hot.
How are you feeling health-wise? Do you feel like you got more energy now, or do you feel like you're still sluggish?
A little sluggish still. I got energy, but then I don't. It's hard to say because you're hyped up. Like I can't sometimes sit and relax. I sit on the edge of the chair. It's just being edgy or waiting for the other foot to drop. And I don't know if we have how many more feet to drop, but it feels like we're being kicked in every direction but loose. What to do, we don't know. The only thing we could do is smile, be nice, be grateful.
Be grateful that we have it each day. Be grateful we have our kids.
Don't go nuts. It is hard. Granted, it is hard. Living in a toxic environment is pretty bad. I mean, it's toxic, and the kids feel it, but they don't know what it is, so they're taking it out on us
And each other and their classmates. It's not fun, and you don't realize it. I mean, even if they weren't special needs, they would still be affected. And I think with them being special needs, it affects them just a little bit more because they're more adept to really focusing on what is going on around them without us really knowing it, and they can't express what they're feeling either. So I think that's what makes it really hard for the special needs children. They see stuff going on and they want to be part of it, but people who have invited them to do something or said, hey, yeah, they can do something, they don't realize that they're still young children and they mess up and they just get frustrated with them because they're not acting either their age or older, and that's where it gets frustrating for us as not just parents but special needs parents too. I think even if they weren't special needs, I still feel bad for my kids, no matter what, because it's not their fault. It's the people who have that high expectations fault because they're not really meeting the kids on their level. So
yeah, that's granted. If we had our own place, we'll be able to handle the problems easier.
We can limit what's going on a little bit easier than we can here. We can try to separate them from it, try to get them to understand what's going on. But when it's one day it's one way and another day it's something totally different, it's really hard for the kids to know how they can work on themselves and better themselves when it's changing constantly for them.
That's why on the weekends, on Sundays, I try to take everybody outside and I'll smoke, barbecue something But now tonight we're having
Brisket.
smoked brisket. And the funny thing is, when we went to the store to go get dinner, did we bring or get any sides? No, we didn't. So we have to invent, and we don't have no macaroni,
Oh.
to dinner. But we got plenty of pasta. I
Well,
think
the good news is this man right here can make extraordinary dishes with very little in the house. So,
it's pretty much
I have
nothing.
no doubt, no matter what you do for a side tonight, will be spectacular, my dear.
Now I'm trying. See, she puts me on a high pedestal and saying, "Do it," and you know you could do it. And that's all you have to do is imagine that. Be focused. Love what you love to do.
Yes.
And
You don't need just to put up your kids and make sure that they're uplifted. You need to make sure that each other is uplifted as well. You know, you need to be everybody's cheerleader, not just your kids, not just yourself, but your partner as well. And that's one thing that we strive to do for all of us, just to make sure that we all have a better life each day and instead of focusing on the past. So
the past is the past, and the present is present, and now is now.
so
Is the present the now? Yeah, I'm sorry. The future, the present, and the past. Don't get them mixed up like I just did. The future will be here.
before you know it. So
Endure. Be happy. And always remember, there are people out there that loves you. I love this one. I love my two missing children, but they're in the yard somewhere.
it's Sunday, they're having fun, and that's the key. Y'all will see in the next segment that we took our children for a walk yesterday, and in case it's not mentioned on there, it is the old railroad that went from Kerrville, Fredericksburg, and Bernie
Railroad
to
number
San Antonio.
9.
Yes, it's the old number 9. And if you're ever in Bernie, Texas, check it out. It goes pretty far into town, and it's a nice walk, whether you got special needs children or not. Catch you in the next segment.
And hold on, we have great news. I'm going to reshoot that Italian car show that I did last year. This time I'm going to do a little bit better, making sure you see more of the cars instead of, what am I doing, you know, on the camera. This last video of the Corvettes, I did a little bit better, but nobody's saying, you could do this or do this for me. You could tell me what I'm doing wrong, but I'm still, you know, I'm a beginner. This is our new YouTube channel. We're trying to say, hey, talk to us, we'll talk to you. We'll let you know what we're doing as a family, the problems we're going through, that we are human.
Yes.
We do care, we do cry, we do bleed. We're not super humans.
Yep.
We're not filthy rich. That's where we want to be so we can relax.
Well, it's not just so we can relax. We want to be able to help others. We have been where a lot of y'all are, and right now we're probably still in where you are, and we want to make it where it's better so that we can help others. We want to be an educational channel. If you ever need financial service advice, please reach out to us. We are here for you. I do not work for a company. I work for my clients, my family. If you are my client, you are family, and that's how we will treat you from the time that you meet with me, even just to meet with me. From the time you meet with me to the time that you pass, you are family, and that's how we want you to feel.
Family is important, so
Yes.
you just gotta understand is that we're gonna finish this up, wrapping it up.
We'll see you in the next segment. Hey everybody, we are playing tourists in our local town. Come along with us. Yeah. We have to consider all trail users. Always be aware of your speed and trail conditions. Share the trail courteously. Communicate by giving audible signals when passing others. Please respect private property. Stay on the trail. Inline skaters and bicycles, wheels, and pedestrians. Keep to the right and pass on the left. Keep pets on a short leash under control and pet with off the trail. Dumping and littering are prohibited. If you see litter, please pick it up. be especially courteous to users with special needs. Use extra caution where trail or path crosses streets. It is unlawful to destroy or deface any natural or artificial improvements along the trail. It is unlawful to frighten, annoy, injure, or kill any native wildlife or birds. No unauthorized motor vehicles allowed except wheelchairs. No unpermitted commercial activities are permitted. Keep horses off the improved trail surface. Please stay on the grass. For unsafe conditions, ask us none. For anything emergency, call 911. And begin in earnest to generate revenue from freight and passage service. As the railroad began to generate income, some of these rather meager profits would be reinvested to construct sturdier bridges and other vital infrastructure improvements. It was just this practice of rapid shoestring construction that proved to be the death knell that eventually led to the bankruptcy and demise of the SA&E. On January 17th, the Lavaca River near Hallsfield collapsed beneath engine number 56 and its ill-fated freight and passengers cars. Several deaths resulted from this tragic incident. The subsequent lawsuits proved too much for the young railroad, and the poor old sap went into receivership on July 14, 1890. The Kerrville branch of the SA&AP constructed numerous bridges to span the flood-prone seasonal creek streams and rivers of the Texas Hill Country. One of the greatest examples of Hill Country railroad bridge engineering is still in existence today. The SA&AP Guadalupe River Bridge, over 100 years old, spanned the river with 3 steel pin-connected trusses resting atop 4 limestone bridges supports granted of hand-hewn limestone quarried nearby over a century ago. The original bridge consisted of 2 wooden approach bents and 3 100-foot-long wooden bridges spanning the river. On July 15, 1900, the bridge choked floodwater of the Guadalupe rose above the stone bridge supports and swept away the middle and eastern bridge spans for 5 months. Comfort, Centerpoint, and Kerrville were without rail transportation and would not see service until the end of that year as repairs were made to the bridge and wooden approaches to prevent a similar occurrence. The 4 limestone bridge supports were extended an additional 7 feet and a steel bridge span was placed in the middle span, and a wood bridge span was reinstalled to complete the eastern span. Later, the 2 remaining wood bridge spans were replaced with steel bridges to provide greater carrying capacity, decreased maintenance costs, and increased longevity. During the early 1970s, the Southern Pacific Railroad was salvaging all the rail and steel bridges along its route from Camp Stanley to Kerrville before Southern Pacific began contacting railroad companies in Mexico, Central, and South America as prospective buyers for the bridge spans. An arrangement was made with the family of the original land for the bridge. Numerous small bridges were needed to span the perennial creeks and dry drainages of the Hill Country. The original bridge constructed to span the Cipolo Creek Canyon was a single wooded truss bridge that closely matches one of the original bridge spans of the Guadalupe River Bridge. Years later, this wood truss bridge was replaced with a stronger, less expensive grider bridge so that heavier trains and rolling stock could be used on the Kerrville branch. Sturdy bridges were needed as well along the Bacones Creek, Big Joshua Creek, Cypress Creek, and Quinlan Creek to enable the San Antonio, Fredericksburg, and Northern Railway Company (SAF) and N trains to traverse the many creeks and drainages along the route. 24 wood trestles were constructed, equating to 1 per mile, similar to the SA and MP. The F&N constructed a 300-foot bridge to span the Pinellas River about 4 miles southeast of the Fredericksburg, built about the devastating flood of the 1900 that occurred both on the Guadalupe Pinellas River. The F&N Pinellas River Bridge sustained heavy damage in October of 1836. Close to 1,000 feet of the rail along with 3 bridge spans were swept downstream. Rooms of the rail were wrapped like baling wire around the tail cypress several hundred feet away.
She ain't going to read this one, so get closer. Here's another one. Let's check this out. And cut.
Hi everybody. Having fun so far? We are. Sigh.
We are having a beautiful, sunny, windy day after the major storm. And now we're out enjoying the day. Keep on watching.
You got daddy. I'm gonna get the silence.
See if I can do one. Not even one. Good.
Silence. What's down there? Stop. I was just showing you for a puppy. Son, go get the cat. It's over there. Kaylee, get over here. 5, 4, 3. I said no. No. No.
Alrighty. This little video is to tell you that what we just traveled and looked at with the family. Here she is. She's gonna say the few ending closings at.
Thank y'all for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment. On our way to speech. Can you say hi to everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Can you tell everybody hi?
Hi.
Okay, guys, as you know, this is Silas. Silas, can you remind them again how old you are? Because you only get to stay it for another, what, week and a half?
5.
Yeah, you're 5. Okay. So, we started him on his new medication on Sunday. Sunday night to be exact. He went to school. They said, oh, he's focusing, but he's really, really tired. He's like a zombie again. Okay. Well, I knew he was supposed to walk on his field trip on Tuesday, so we let him miss his dosage on Monday night so that he was not a zombie walking on his field trip. And come to find out, due to weather, they had to ride the bus on his field trip. So they were supposed to walk to the local public library. They rode the bus over there, did their thing there, and then he went to the local restaurant that we usually go to. You'll see it later on in our videos. And he got to order his own ice cream. This whole field trip was to teach these children with special needs how to act in public. How do you walk from point A to point B and then even do a sidetrack to another place, order your own food, and then walk back to point A. Everything was fine Tuesday. Wednesday, I got a mother's worst nightmare call. The nurse called me at 9:30 in the morning and told me that Silas had 2 seizures. These are not regular seizures. These are what's called absent seizures. And what he does in these seizures is that he stares off into space. They said it took him a while to get him back. Shortly after they got him where he's looking around, talking to him, he had another one. And the substitute goes, wait a minute. He did this Monday. Okay. So I'm telling you this because this is an educational podcast. We have grown up, Stephen and I, where seizures are convulsing. That's not the case. There's all types of seizures, and seeing him be that way was scary enough. We took him to the hospital. I looked down for just a second to text Stephen, letting him know we were in the exam room. Looked up, and my little boy was pale. He was on the verge of turning blue. I went over to him and I said, hi honey. He was able to talk to me, so didn't think much of it. When they were doing the EEG for an hour, I'm watching. The technician left him for that entire hour. She said, do not move. Well, guess what? He's autistic. He's gonna move. He did really well. He stayed still for about 30 minutes. And I had to finally start telling him, honey, you got 30 minutes left. You're doing really good. We'll be done soon. Got to 20 minutes. Honey, I know you're getting restless. We're almost done. But during that entire time, I'm watching his oxygen levels. They got down to 80 for the longest time. And when we were about 10 to 20 minutes left in his EEG, his oxygen levels started reaching to the 70s. The lowest it got that I noticed before the machines would start acting up was 77% oxygen. He's turning really pale. Well, we had to wait 4 hours after the EEG was done to get the results. The neurologist finally saw them and he says they're normal. I said, okay, if they're normal, then why was his oxygen levels getting so dangerously low? Oh, we don't go based on that because it could be how he's sitting, the wires could be crunched. It's a number of things. I said, no, he was even turning pale. Oh, then we don't know, but we're going to go ahead and discharge you. Okay, thanks. Been here for 6 hours. He hasn't had anything to eat since this morning, except for a little animal crackers. So there's multiple types of seizures. There's the convulsing. We have just started realizing that there's such thing as a giggle seizure. It's where they're giggling when there's no reason to giggle. I think that Silas has been having those kind of seizures. He has those kind of seizures, from what I can gather, once a month. Now, the staring off in space, I noticed it for the first time sometime in March. There's the absent seizures. Okay, so I went and looked it up. An absent seizure is the symptoms of an absent seizure. People experience an absent seizure when typically have a vacant expression while they are temporarily unaware of what's going on around them. The seizures begin suddenly and last between 10 and 20 seconds. In most cases, there are no residual symptoms once the seizure passes. During the seizure, a person may make movements with their hands, their eyelids may twitch. Some also make lip smacking or chewing motions with their mouths. Who is at risk? The vast majority of people who experience absent seizures are children between the ages of 4 and 14. Often children who have absent seizures are otherwise completely healthy. These types of seizures usually stop once the child grows up, although they can persist into adulthood. Absent seizures are more prevalent in females and are more likely if there is a family history of seizures. In some cases, such episodes may be present in people who also experience seizures that cause involuntary muscle jerking or twitching. Okay, so the family history. My younger sister had seizures when she was pretty much a newborn up until toddlerhood, and her hands would twitch. That was the only time that they could see that she was having seizures. Now, my half sister has epilepsy. She's been diagnosed with that. I have never seen her have a seizure, so I don't know what type she would have, but my guess with just reading that, she has the usual seizures, the convulsing. So my kids having the absent seizures is kind of shocking for me because of the type that my sisters have had. But like it says, they have that history. What causes absent seizures? Often the reason behind absent seizures are unclear, though experts believe many children develop them due to genetic predisposition. Abnormal repetitive electrical signals in the brain are the most common cause of this type of seizure. However, some people also have chemical imbalances that affect communication between nerve cells. This also can lead to the condition. When diagnosing absent seizures, doctors ask for descriptions of symptoms and conduct physical examinations. They may also order tests such as MRI scans to look at the electrical activity and structure within the brain. An EEG test can help diagnose abnormal electrical activity. Small electrodes are attached to the skull via a special cap. Okay, so when Kaylee had her EEG done, they had a bunch of wires on her. I don't remember them putting a cap on her like they did Silas, but it's been a year, so they could have done it. But she did have an EEG done. He had an EEG done, and like I said, the ER doctor said it was normal. He sees a neurologist. I called them up. They said the latest they would see him is sometime in August. So we have a few months to kind of see what's going on. I know the doctor is going to ask me to do like what he asked me to do for Kaylee if I can get to a camera in time, is when they're having these types of seizures is to document it. What that means is videotape what is going on, time them. If at any time, doesn't matter what kind of seizure it is, if at any time the seizure lasts more than 5 minutes, I would even say when it gets to 4 minutes, dial the 911. Don't hit send just yet. But when it gets to 4 minutes and 55 seconds, go ahead and call them. What they're going to do is probably take them to the ER and get them assessed. That is the best thing you can do because you don't know if at any time during that seizure they're without oxygen. So that is why they say at that 5 minute mark is when you call, because something's not right. So that's everything that they say about absent seizures. Like I said, there is multiple types of seizures. So if you think your child could possibly have a seizure, please talk to your doctor. Try to get them in with a neurologist. The worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to say everything's fine with your child, which is the best news a parent can have. But if there's something going on, wouldn't you want to know? So, thank y'all for listening about Silas, and I'll see you in the next segment. Kaylee, for the last 2 weeks, she had speech Monday, Wednesday, and everything was good. Took her to Daddy's work Thursday, and she was like, okay, we're here, what now? And so because it was such a nice day that day, we went to the park. I've noticed when she's walking, because she's got ballerina feet, okay? She's walking on the tips of her toes. She's not walking on her actual toes, but she's walking like where her nails are. So she gets tired very, very easily. I'm so used to having Silas go on walks with me that I forgot how she is when she walks. So I had to carry her for like the last mile. And I even took her socks and shoes off to see if it got better. She kept walking that way. She saw the neurologist. That's one reason why we went to Steven's work. And he's concerned about her walking on the balls of her, or the tips of her toes. He wanted to see her shoes, but because I had taken them off, I forgot to put them back on her or even put them in her bag. So he didn't get to see her shoes, but I went and looked at her shoes. The soles of her shoes are like brand new. But when you look where her toes are, that's all worn in. And I never really paid attention how she walked because I knew she walked on her tiptoes, but I never realized how far on her tiptoes she walks. So I'm more concerned about that. The neurologist did order an MRI because of how she is, her age and everything. They're going to sedate her, so we have to take her to the hospital to have that done. But one thing that I got to notice this week is she does not like her routine messed with. And what I mean by that, she was kind of okay with us missing speech on Wednesday when Silas had to go to the hospital. But by Friday, because we had it messed up again, she really didn't know what to do with herself. And then we let her know, if you're really good for OT, then my parents went and got a dog this weekend, and we went and picked it up Friday. And so we said, we'll take you, go get it, because Dad got off work today, go get the puppy. So both kids did really well for OT because they wanted to go get this puppy. Luckily, Silas was up for the entire storm Friday night coming home. Kaylee went to sleep. I think that if she was up, I think she would have freaked out a little bit because of the pea-sized hail hitting the car. But it was better that she was asleep. I think, like I said, with her routine getting all messed up this last week, I think it just wore her out even more. But that's something we are going to be watching out for her more, is how often is she getting tired, how long is she able to walk before she's tired, and then how often is she getting upset about routine. We have got her evaluated for autism in the past, and they said they don't see autism at that time. But the more that we're working with her and we're seeing stuff, I'm starting to see more and more red flags. So I'm hoping that between the MRI and everything, we can get some answers of what's going on for her. And then between the neurologist and her PCP, we can figure out what we need to do for her after that. But yeah, that's Kaylee's update for the last 2 weeks, and we'll see you in the next segment. Here is our self-care, my crafting. This is how I practice self-care besides just reading, watching TV, and all that good stuff. So the last time we visited, I was right here. Let me get a little bit closer for y'all. So I was here, okay? And now I'm here. I think I'm at 6 inches on the sock, but I did work on Steven's sock, not as much in the last 2 weeks as Silas' sock, but I did work on it. So this was where we were 2 weeks ago, that pink marker, and that's where I am now. What I started doing, I don't remember if I told you all this 2 weeks ago or not, but when I'm at a doctor's appointment, anything for the kids, watching their shows, reading their books, I'm working on Silas' sock. When I'm at Steven's work, watching our shows, reading my books, I'm working on his sock. But as you can see, I worked more on Silas' sock than I did Steven's. And that's typically how it's going to be. I love it because when I'm on the go, I've got both socks, so it doesn't matter what I'm doing. When I took Kaylee to the neurologist 2 weeks ago, I worked on Steven's dock because we were on his way to work. And then when I was at his work, they asked me to sit up front to watch it while the office went to lunch, and I said sure. So I got out his sock and worked on it there since I was doing something for Steven. And as you can still see, like I said, I worked more on Silas's sock than Steven's, so it kind of worked out. Steven's is 80 stitches. It's on size, I want to say 2 knitting needles, and Silas is like 46 stitches and on 1.5 size US size needles. So yes, I'm always going to probably do more on Silas's than Steven's, even if I could devote as much time on Steven's as I do Silas, because Silas's is shorter stitches. It's going to go by a whole lot faster and grow, and Steven's is going to take a little bit longer. I am learning something. I've never done this before, and so when our show is on, I'm knitting in the dark, and the main reason is because I'm trying to teach myself how to knit without looking. I have knitted for 13 years now, and I've always been the one that has to look at what I'm doing. It gives me something to concentrate on, but I feel like I need to move past that and be able to knit without looking at anything. So once I master that, then I want to pick up another craft where I have to focus on it, just so that I can retrain my brain a little bit, because with knitting, unless I'm doing a really direct pattern, I don't have to count, don't really have to think about it, so I can really pay attention to what's going on with the kids. But I want a craft that I really have to dig into me and have to either count or really pay attention to what stitches I'm doing. I would love to get into cross stitch. I think that'll be one thing if we're still here to pick up. And like I said, it's just so because I have to focus on it. So I have to focus on me and how I'm feeling at the time. But if we're not here when I master that, then I would love to learn how to hand quilt. And the main reason is because I can get the quilt all ready to go and then put it aside until winter and then put all of it there. So it gives me two purposes of quilting. One, to get it done. Two, to stay warm. So that is my crafting. That is my self-care for the last 2 weeks. And I'll see you in the next segment. Okay, so what I am reading. I just finished Deep Work by Cal Newport. And what I took away from it is we're focusing on so many little tasks that we're not devoting our time to get the deep work done. Like if you're an author, taking that time to actually write. You're focusing so much on writing like the description of your character and all that, but you're not taking that time to actually close in on yourself and just focus on writing for an hour, 2 hours, whatever you want to do. You're not focusing on that. For us financial services people, we're focusing more on reaching out to our clients, that we're not focusing on the clients that we have, and make sure that they don't have any questions or concerns going on, or if they need a follow-up. So one thing that I took away from it as a financial service representative, I want to do more types of these videos because I can reach out to more people in this short amount of time, but I can focus on the ones that need me right then and there, the ones that need those appointments to be set and everything else, so I have more time to devote to them. So instead of only having appointments late at night between 7 and 10, I can set up appointments for the entire day because I'm doing stuff like this and having it done for the entire week or two. I'm still reading Virtual Leader. I haven't had a lot of time to read that with everything going on. I did finish a lot of books with the kids this week. We finished the first book in the Boxcar Children, and I think the children really liked that the children went to the grandfather and realized that he is not as mean as they thought he was, and we're getting ready to start the second book in the series. We finished a lot of their books for unschooling. We still have, like, I think when I say 10 books left to do, and we'll have those done this week, God willing, and get those turned in and see about getting some new ones. Kaylee just finished Nightingale, and I wish that was a series. It might turn into a series, but I just didn't like how it ended for the book period. I think it could deal with a lot more, so I'm hoping that it does turn into a series. And now she's reading the Diana, the Wonder Woman series. There's 3 books so far, so we'll probably have that one finished by the time school gets out. And then I have a series that I want to read with the kids completely, and I'm starting to think of what we could get to read by themselves. So that is what we are reading. See you in the next segment. Okay, honey, you don't really read that much, but you listen to a lot of books. You actually listen to books more than I do. What books have you been listening to lately?
Which ones did I just get done watching? The Expeditionary Force was a really good book. There's a total of 16 books in the series, and each book is at least, I want to say, sometimes 21 hours, 17 hours. Then they got little side projects on the same book, because it branches out to there's still the same humans out there, but the Expeditionary Force was a family. The Expeditionary Force was a group of race that a new wormhole opened up and trying to keep the bad people from getting more advanced, an advantage in the zone. But you gotta check it out, because there's a smart addict, all-knowing AI says he's the bomb and he's the shiznit. So, and there's one guy that found him, he was a dumbass. And that's what they think. When you put a smart one with a dumbass, it means a smart ass, exactly what he becomes from the dumbass. But he's very smart. Now I'm listening to again. Then I'm listening to now Koban.
And how you like that one?
Oh, I love it. That's why I already listened to it. I don't know how many different times. I already listened to that same book maybe 5 times, and there's those chapters are at least 25 hours a book. So that one takes a little longer to listen to one book. And this one's just crab-like beings wants to take over the world and looking for the right race to get them there. And they found humans and overestimated that we're smarter than they think we are. Even though we're sneaky, we could do things that helps us win. Like now. There's so much wars going on that I'm trying to stay out of it. And I have been, thank goodness. But those are the 2 books I've been listening to, but I have a whole bunch of other books that I still, when I'm finished one chapter, I go into another, and if there's another new book coming out, I go to another. Like I already listened to Zombie Fallout, and that one's exactly zombies. And it all started from a flu shot, contaminated flu shot. And it did happen in South America. Squirrel! So, but that's how that one is you know, how all zombies starts is just the way it works. And then after that one is the same thing. It's called Fallout Lichen. Same thing, but the same guy lives because he became a vampire and lives forever. Everybody dies from him, and he's fighting werewolves. But that's the second book, and that's the third book. So that makes 4 books so far. But there's other books I've been listening to. Pretty much a lot of zombie books
Or sci-fi.
or sci-fi.
Okay, so we talked about your reading. What else do you do for your self-care?
My self-care, there's a lot of things I want to do. What now all I'm doing is working, coming home, listening to books.
No, sir.
Well, what I'm forgetting. Oh, I like to go ride my bike.
There you go.
Not motorcycle, bicycling.
He's getting back into that after his surgery, but how far are you going right now?
I used to do 30 miles, 15 one way, 15 back. I'm barely doing a mile now. I'm doing like block after block, trying to build more blocks. Then I can start conquering the hills. Since I haven't, my hernia, it's been hard for me to start riding again because it hurt a lot. I still got little problems. I get inflammation that I need to get taken care of. It didn't go away on its own, so I got to go back in and get it taken care of. So, what else am I forgetting?
That's it, baby. We actually help people with their self-care. We want to make sure that special needs parents are not neglecting themselves. We do know that you focus more on your children, and that's where the focus needs to be. But if you don't take care of yourself, how are you taking care of your kids? When we stopped doing our self-care, we started realizing that our mental health was being affected, and that's when we started saying, you know what? They're taken care of. We need to spend at least 30 minutes on ourselves. One thing that Steven gets to enjoy is an hour ride to and from work, so he gets to listen to books. That's why he's able to listen to more books than me. I do more reading than he does.
Yeah, she does nothing but reading. She does take care of the kids, but then she just wants to forget everything's around her. And
when I know the kids are taken care of, there's times Kaylee, we listen to her book and I'll get my book out and start reading. There's times I'm reading at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But yes, the kids are taken care of, and I just need to focus on myself at times. Like I said, you don't focus on your mental health, the children are affected too. So you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, not just the kids. So when I say let's talk about our self-care, it's not just what are you reading, what are you watching, what are you listening to. It is also what are you doing for yourself.
mental being.
Right. What are you doing for your physical health? Him riding his bike is his physical. My mental state is I'm working on my mindset for work, my mindset as a parent, and then I read for fun as well. Oh, and I knit too. I knit so that I can just be working on something and feel like I'm being productive, because there's times that the kids just don't want anything to do with me, and that's fine. They'll sit there and they'll be on their tablets or they'll watch TV. I would like to feel like I'm productive. And I don't feel like I'm being productive. I feel like the day just got wasted. So with me knitting, crafting, even reading a book and knowing I finished it, I feel productive. I know there's some people out there that if they can finish coloring a paper, they're happy. I'm not that type of person. I will color when I get the gumption to do it, but it's not something I have to do day in and day out to feel like I was productive.
Yeah, like I had a whole bunch of different hobbies growing up that kept me cool, calm. But a lot of them I stopped doing just because I don't have time or the place or the room to do other hobbies that I like doing. We used to play video games a lot of times, but then all things...
Life happened.
Yeah, life happens and people says, why are you playing video games? And it's like, fine, this is just something just so we could just do something besides watching a movie or something.
But if video games is your outlet, please do it.
It's not saying don't do it.
Right.
It's just, it's not as important as your family. I've seen people that the husband comes home, he said, I got this new game. Leave me alone, I'm gonna lock me up myself in the room and don't bother me until tomorrow morning when I gotta go back to work. I wanna play this new game until I can beat it or understand it. But it's your thing. But to us, it's just a game. It's not going anywhere.
No.
Where's it going? You can wait until your day off or wait until the kids are asleep. And that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to see if I can get up and stay up, but most of the time I really don't want.
When you are up, you rather be designing instead of
I
playing.
should be getting into my new craft. I got the program, got the computer, but since I've been back to work at Heaven Sent, I don't have time to do that. But I know I need to make time so to build new knowledge, new brain cells by doing something you never done before. Helps you get smarter. So it helps you be more. Alright. So, well, we need to start wrapping this up. Anything else we need to think of?
I think that's it, and we'll see you in the next segment. Bye.
Love you.
Now for what we are watching. Honey, what did you think of the 911 Lone Star, where Rob Lowe, Captain Strand's girlfriend, his husband, died in the cryogenic machine?
Well, it's interesting that how he knows he's frozen, but then decided to do chest compressions on a frozen man. So all you can imagine is that, what do you imagine? Frozen ribs, meat,
Crush.
meets pressure. What's going to happen? You don't get blood. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
But
but is it really a good thing?
not for the one that got his ribs crushed in. But hey, good thing is he was dead.
Okay, so what do you think when they found out that her husband accidentally killed himself?
So they say it could have been.
No, he went mess with a fertilizer spray, and because he had his arm broken already, he got the spray all over himself, and it slowly killed him, and it made his dog sick.
Oh, that's right. He got It was toxic poisoning.
Yes.
That's why they always say when you mess with poison,
Wear gloves and make sure you wash your hands.
Often
Yes.
helps, because even that slight not washing your hands, all kinds of poisons. You know, as mechanics, most 90% mechanics, you know, they don't wash their hands when they eat, because they're picking up their sandwich or taco that this car has to be done. Well, they take too long to go wash your hands and then come and eat. They'll eat, work, drink, work, because mechanics have to get stuff done like everything, like everybody else. You got to get work done. What do? Where's your food, lunch, or breakfast?
Now, what did you think of 911, where Grace's dad had a heart attack and called into dispatch? Or mom called into dispatch, sorry.
Well, it's interesting that he hid it that he was having heart attacks.
Yeah.
And
well, both parents were high.
They knew that he was having health issues, so they want to be more in their grandchildren's lives than they wanted to say, because he was having health issues.
Okay, what do you think of Athena having that suspect fake his death in the back of her car?
You gotta get out handcuffs one way or another.
Yeah.
Faking your death is a great way to do it.
Yeah, but look at all the time and effort and the planning he had to do it. I mean, how would he known that was it a bus accident was going to happen?
Yeah.
Or that he was going to have a casualty right there waiting for him? I mean, I don't know. I think that was just way too planned. I mean, I think that's where you can tell it's a fictional show. But they did catch him, which was good. Okay, what do you think of Captain Danny the Nose Brown catching that slingshot on Patrol Live?
Yeah, imagine that. They were chasing a rented slingshot.
I forgot about that part.
It wasn't his, so I had an accident. It's not mine.
I can crash into this tree and nobody will ever really miss it. So that is what we have been watching, and we'll see you in the next segment.
Thank you.
Now for financial news. Did you know that applied behavior analysis is available through Medicaid? Greg Abbott signed it into law that Medicaid needs to pay for ABA. as long as a child is on the autism spectrum. It did not go into effect until February of 2022. We are now in April 2023, and clinics are still not approved to provide ABA for Medicaid patients. Why? Is it because the clinic is not fully providing the documents? Or is it something else? Who knows? But this is something that we all need to figure out to help our children on the autism spectrum. Thank you for watching Financial News. We'll see you in the next segment. Hi everybody. Okay, so that was our episode for this week. Thank y'all for watching. Please, if you have not already, like this episode and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see when our next video is available. Now, just so y'all know, next Saturday, May 6th, we will be at Dragon Laird for Free Comic Book Day. Then on May 10th, which is on a Wednesday, we will be at Coke Floats with Cops at our local restaurant, Blacksmith Grill, where we will be having Coke Floats with our first responders. We usually will be there when it starts. I think it starts at 4:30 due to school, but we will be there Friday, and it's Silas's birthday. And then we'll let you know exactly what we're doing on the 13th. Do not forget, May 14th is Mother's Day. So all you mothers, I hope you have a great Mother's Day, and we'll see you soon. Bye guys.